Welcome to the Called to Love podcast, a show dedicated to exploring how human relationships and intimacy with God are connected. Join us as we discuss hard-hitting topics that inspire and motivate you to go deeper into the intricacies of building meaningful relationships. Here now are your hosts, James Levacy and Brian Canadle.
You know what I love about Called to Love? We don't talk about Called to Love a lot. People always ask us, what is Called to Love? And yesterday I think I gave the best answer I've ever given. I said, Called to Love is about, it's an organization you can't join because you're already a member. I said, if you're saved by Christ, you can't join it. It's a lifestyle. We're always talking about, what did Jesus talk about in the Bible about how we were supposed to treat one another, how we were supposed to live? And it's right there in plain language. And it's hard to follow sometimes.
Well, family, that's what we are. We're part of a family, the family of God. And oftentimes what we find is being a part of family, we don't feel related at all oftentimes. And Call to Love is bringing the love back into the family. That's what I like to consider it to be, is an opportunity to shine a light on something very important, and that's the value of people in relationship with the Lord and one another. And the way you do that is spending time, walking that journey out, getting to know people. And we are going to be known by the love that we have for one another, not by our gifts, but by our fruits and our expressions of love. And that is to love people, and that's our heartbeat.
That's exactly right. It is really important to love people. This word, love, we hear it tossed around. It makes people nervous a lot of times when we talk about love because they're worried it means something that they're opposed to. And there's so many variances of what people believe love is that you have to kind of get to know somebody to find out what their heart is. And that is the hardest thing to do, is breaking people, don't let me use that word, but getting people to a place because of the relationship where you break down the walls. That's what I'm trying to say, so that they share their heart with you. And that's really what it's about. When we talk about love, we're talking about being transparent. We're talking about sharing your heart. We're talking about you don't have anything to hide because we trust each other. We love each other. We've got your back. We're going the extra mile for you. If you need something, if we got it, we're going to give it to you. Even if you've been mean to us, even if you've been offended, we think love is so powerful that it can break any stronghold of offense or bitterness or hurt or pain. And I think Jesus wanted people to experience that.
It's we meet a lot of people, and we all are on that journey or process of becoming. The journey with Jesus is one of transformation. So Jesus said, follow me, which is an imitation. I will make you, which is a transformation, where he is doing work on us. And then he tells us what we would become, fishers of men, a body of people that find value in humanity, just like Jesus was willing to give his life for it. He's asking us to make an impact on humanity, and that is to shine for him. Love is a very difficult thing. Years ago, Tina Turner had that song, What Does Love Got to Do with It? And she said it was a secondhand emotion. It becomes secondhand to us oftentimes because we like people, or we love people, but we don't like them oftentimes. And familiarity often creeps in almost every relationship. It creeps in our relationship with the Lord. It creeps in our relationship with people, especially those that are closest to us. And the goal is to never lose sight on the value of, and never forgetting how amazing how we were rescued and how we were redeemed and how God's got this incredible plan and purpose for our life. And we look at it today, social media, we look at different platforms, and everyone is redefining and talking about what love is. And that's our heartbeat. That's what we want to do. We want to uncover what all that looks like.
Yeah. You know what I find fascinating is there's drives out there to build community. There's the promotion of, come in here and, you're going to find a way to be successful. You're going to, we're interested in building you. But then we find there's so many places that you go and they just want you in there. They just want you a part of the club, so to speak. And, Christians struggle with that in churches. And sometimes we'll start out and we're really excited, man. We feel the Holy Spirit in here. We just feel something different about this place. It's very inviting. And we come in there, but then it becomes more of a task-driven, environment. And people are coming in there to find God. And what's happening is we're wanting people to grow spiritually. I mean, that's the name of the game. I think God wants people to grow spiritually.
Oh, yes.
So they can find God in their closet, or they can find God, everywhere. Like He's everywhere. He's all over the place. And I just think it would be interesting if we focused on relationships first. I mean, we go to a place to find relationships, but often we don't realize they're all around us. And that's one of the drives that we have is, hey, let's build relationships right where you're at, right where people are.
That's good. Let's watch this clip if we can.
Let's do it.
Something that was really awesome that was shared at our table was there's a difference between reacting emotionally, like how I feel, like the inward is the enemy, all self, versus responding from a transformed mind. And taking a moment, a lot of what we talked about was taking time to reconcile, to have self-reflection. That's the moment that we get to take responsibility for our selfish actions, and then being able to humble ourselves and apologize to the person.
What a great clip from Courtney.
Yes.
I mean, that was just really good. I loved her transparency. What's the common denominator of every relationship where you're involved?
It's you.
It's you.
Yes.
And she really hit on her responsibility there. I loved how she was taking responsibility about being selfish and those types of things. And we know Courtney.
Yes.
I mean, she won't come across as selfish.
No.
However, when we get settled into these relationships and we're in this family life and things like that, it's easy to get accustomed to the norms of things and, put a little bit of more, I guess, or lack of attention to your spouse and your kids and be kind of grumpy maybe sometimes.
Sure.
You ever get like that around people you're comfortable with?
Well, James, what I loved about what Courtney did, she was very transparent. She was very real. People are attracted to that. They're having problems in their relationship. You have children, young children, just the dynamics of working and operating a household and coming together. It takes a toll on relationships because everybody processes their day differently. Everybody has issues they're working through, and it comes to a head. But to hear someone say, "This is what I've been dealing with," man, that's amazing because people want to know that people feel the same way they do. They're going through the same issues, whether it's just trouble spots in their marriage, just dealing with children, whatever the situation is. That's the whole reason we have these conferences, and we want to make sure we create an opportunity for people to come together in a group setting, table setting, and just really brainstorm and strategize on all of the dynamics of relationships, including how to resolve conflict, just dealing with relationships and how difficult they can be, and then working together, sitting at a table with someone and knowing you're not the only one dealing with the same thing.
Yeah, for quite a few years we've done events and conferences and those types of things, and it's been me and you talking, and then we would branch out and experiment and say, well, let's bring somebody else up and let them talk. And then it was, hey, let's get everybody talking at a table. And then we do that like one time. And I remember one time we put out a survey and said, hey, what did you like best about the conference? And they said it was the time we got to visit together.
Yes.
And we were putting strangers together and asking questions and saying, hey, y'all hash out these answers, about relationships and those types of things. And what we've learned, and again, I'll say it all the time, we're not experts, but me and you have put in so many hours, hundreds, if not thousands of hours, meeting with people over coffee and breakfast and lunch. And we've learned some very valuable principles. I mean, we've had people that had failing marriages, that there was no way it was going to work out, that they're coming back together, that they're thriving today. And we've just been talking about these principles. The principles that we're going to talk about on this podcast, we're going to be talking about principles that help marriages. We're going to be talking about principles that help drive community. We're going to be talking about principles that help people self-develop, become better people, successful in their position. Why are people successful? Why are they not successful? Those are the things that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's good, James. The thing that I like the most about this journey is in the process of being in a relationship with people, we get a chance to grow too. We're actually benefiting from meeting with people, even though they're like, oh my gosh, it's so great to meet with you. It's so great to and we have, we've been doing this for years. They don't know how much of an impact it's made on us as well. So we're just as grateful. And it's the heart of the Father. It's the heart of the Father to see his children learning how to be in relationship one with another, and then coming in unity, both as a family unit, and then from there really, taking on what church family should look like. A family that prays together stays together.
Yeah. Have you ever heard somebody say this? Man, I just want to be so close to God. When I walk in a room, people see, this different person. They see Jesus Christ. They don't see me, but they see this spiritual person that has become aligned with God. And what they're really saying is they want to be like Jesus. And how can you expect to be like the Son of God if you can't love people? That's like the epitome of who he is.
But knowing what to do is one thing. How to do it is another. How to love someone, it's modeled. It's easy to tell someone what to feel, think, believe, or do. It's a whole nother thing for someone to model that. And that's all we're doing. Imperfect people that are committed to changing and growing and becoming who God said we already are. And it's modeling it and demonstrating it every day, a little bit at a time.
That's right. I think one of the secrets is, just as a preface, we're not perfect.
No.
But we have made a commitment that we're not going to be offended. Do we have twinges of offense come on? Yes, but we recognize it immediately. We don't let it fester. We don't let this bitterness boil up. We immediately start going into reconciliation. How can we reconcile this relationship, which has a lot to do with conflict? We're going to talk about how to resolve conflict.
And Courtney talks about, in this next clip, she actually talks about taking responsibility to restore, being the one saying, I want to make a difference. I want to take responsibility and change.
Yeah. Let's hear a little bit more from Courtney. How about it?
Yes.
I know personally one thing is I'm a wife. I've only been married 3 years, and I have 2 children under 3, and so I'm in a really busy season. And I was sharing with my table, I am very selfish, and a lot of times I blame my children and my husband for the atmosphere of our home, the panic and just chaos. And the Lord's just been revealing to me like how much I am like Martha, that I'm so focused on keeping a home or a task that I don't enjoy my children and my relationships that I have in my home. And so this is just a beautiful question. It's just so awesome that in the Lord's kindness and His grace that He invited us all to come and look in the mirror and say, I love you so much that I can't let you live. You have to be transformed into looking more like me. And so I'm so grateful for his grace. We just had a lot of beautiful conversations at our table.
You know, we're no strangers to the idea of resolving conflict. One thing about conflict is it's always uncomfortable. There's never really a conflict that I can think of in my life where I was like, man, I cannot wait to tackle that and just get in front of the person and confront it. That's just not the case. What do you think?
Well, I mean, because feelings are involved. If we didn't have feelings, we would look at everything logically. Conflict resolution wouldn't be an issue. But when it's about how you feel, suddenly the desire is not to restore or reinstate or make something right. It's to hold on to it and distance ourselves and protect ourselves. That's why offense is so dangerous, and not addressing how to resolve it and resolving conflict. That's why we are in the issues that we're having right now in relationships.
That's exactly right. You know, there's nothing more important than your name. I mean, your reputation. And how do you develop a reputation? It's in the way you handle people. It's in the way you talk. It's in the way you say things. It's who you are. It's who you've become in front of other people. And when you're dealing with people, if you've committed to be loved, if you've taken on this identity of Christ, well, one thing you can say for sure is you're going to suffer. You're going to have to die. You're going to, and everybody that is into Christianity knows what I mean when I say die. That's not literal physical death. It means to die to this self-will of always trying to be the leg up, the one up, the I'm going to get mine before you get yours, and this and that, and taking the high road.
It's all about spiritual growth. It's all about maturing. It's all about walking. You know, you never want to just stay at 3 years old. It may be great, but ultimately growing is becoming what you were created to be, and that's what spiritual growth looks like. And learning how to deal with offense and learning how to do conflict resolution is huge. And we'll be tackling that in our next segment about offense and conflict resolution. But yeah, what a great clip with Courtney.
Yeah. Well, she's really, you know, driving home some of these real things. I know what some of you are listening to this is like, okay, tell me how. How do we do this? How do we get into this mindset of conflict resolution, reflecting on self as opposed to everybody else and what they should do? And that's one of the keys right there. I mean, you know, sitting down with people. We've had to sit down with some pretty hard cases and just value people. I mean, that's part of the secret. Value the other person.
If it's worth being in relationship it's worth keeping, and regardless of where you go from there, people are valuable, and we've got to remember that. So
yeah. The next segment, as Brian, you know, set up a while ago, we're going to be talking about offense. Hope you'll join in, and we look forward to seeing you again.
That's good.
We hope this episode of the Called to Love podcast has enriched your life and offered valuable principles to apply on your personal journey. Please explore our website at www.calledto.love for more information and to share your feedback with us. Until our next episode, may you find peace and love. And always remember, you are called to love.